What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Underrated and Overlooked Podcast. We have a jam-packed show today. Hope you guys are excited as we are. What's going on, Craig, man? How you feeling? How's vacation, man?
It was nice. I'm trying to catch up, so I'm excited to hear some of what you saw this last week, and then I like the topics today. I'm ready to roll.
All right, let's do it. So, first and foremost, let's go ahead and talk about a player, Luke Kromenhawk, that plays for Benedictine. This guy actually shot up, so we're going to share our screen with you guys. Really impressive where he was. I know he participated in the camp, and he shot up ever since. He was actually 99, and now he's currently number 33. So let me go ahead and share that screen with y'all. And you've seen him in person, right, Craig?
Right, and what you're pointing out usually doesn't happen. You don't see a guy jump up like 80 spots,
No.
but he has been active at all these camps. He's one of the, I'd say, 5 Georgia guys that's really been on a national circuit with these big quarterback showcases, and he's obviously proven it with his accuracy, his size. He's coming off a state championship season with Benedictine. And I just love the way Benedictine does things. So you're getting a really quality guy that basically run it like a military academy, which they are. And so I just think he's been impressive and definitely one of the guys whose stock's on the rise like no one else.
100%. I think he really impressed some of the 247 people at their Elite 11 in California, and they really spoke about him really heavily. And I think that's the reason why he's jumping. I heard he's actually number 3 right now, currently in the country at the quarterback position. So he's shooting up really well. He's another name to watch for Benedictine. I think they made it all the way to the state championship game last year, right?
That's right. So let's see. He's number 3 at the quarterback position nationally, or sorry, in the state, right? Is that what that means? Right here with the 3. He's number 7.
Yeah, that's 3 nationally, and that's 7 in the state of Georgia.
So he's behind Dylan now, and then who else? Let's click on that 3.
Dylan and Julian Singh, who's going to Alabama.
Wow.
Yeah, told you, yeah.
So, yeah, 3. If Dylan didn't move in, he'd be the number 1 quarterback in the state right now.
Yeah, 100%. It's over Aaron Nolan and, Jaden Davis.
But, wow, look at that. Georgia has 3 of the top 5 in the country.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. You're right.
So, yeah, that's huge. He's definitely shot 100%. Up. He's been committed to Florida State for a while.
Yep.
So it's not like he's going to all these showcases to try to get a new offer. He's just going out there balling out.
That's it. So that was the guy I wanted to highlight for you guys today. I think he's been doing an excellent job. So that big jump, man, number 3. So he's going to be an exciting player to see. Hopefully we can get out and see one of his games. So that's the start of the show. Another tournament that really impressed me was, if you guys don't know, I'm going to share the screen with this as well. It's called the Nike EYBL. It's a really impressive AAU tournament. Some of the top players in the country come out here and play for AAU teams. You got Night Riders, you got Team Takeover, you got Vegas Elite, a bunch of different teams. And what really stood out to me and I enjoyed at the tournament was
Ace Bailey.
Yeah, obviously him. But it was Caden Boozer and Cameron Boozer, right? So the Boozer twins, they're the top players in the country. I think Caden Boozer, though, is very, very underrated, right? And let me see if I can actually pull up an Instagram just to show and kind of give you guys a little bit of context. Let's see. Okay. Come on.
Okay. These events have always been big, but, I mean, recently they are just massive.
Yeah, I mean, you had Carmelo Anthony was there, Chris Paul, LeBron, Bradley Beal. I mean, all the NBA stars was there in attendance. Oh, my goodness. Okay, it's going so slow. Okay, so let's see if they have his stats because I want to give you guys some context. It might be this one. Let's see. They have like multiple photos. I'm trying to show you too, Craig. Maybe it's this. Okay, yeah. No, that's not it.
I saw some tweet from a stat. This guy was at like 38 points a game. Like, these aren't necessarily shootouts either with that 58-50 score.
No, that game was actually pretty good. Let me see if they have a stat line. Okay, they're not showing his stat line, but nonetheless, the brother really impressed me. Caden actually had in this game. He had 23 points, 5 assists, and 3 boards. And what was impressive was Cameron Boozer didn't have his usual game. He's the number 1 player in the country, right? So he only had 1 point going into halftime. He only had 5 points overall. He got in foul trouble. His brother had to pick up the scoring load. His brother scored 23 points. He was just hitting nice runners. The pace that he plays at is really, really impressive. Pushes tempo, pushes pace, gets everybody involved. I like the way he stepped up. And actually, they lost to Man United, who has the number 2 player in the country, Cooper Flagg, earlier in the Nike UIBL Summit, but they ended up beating them in championship game 58-50. So those two obviously stood out. Ace Flagg was another one for me that had a really good tournament, I thought, in my eyes. He played really, really, really well. I enjoyed watching him play. He was, taking charges, playing really good defense. He was just a really good cornerstone player for them. And what was impressive about the whole thing was that it wasn't just the stars for both teams that were playing well. It was the role players. It was the other players stepping up. Devon Allen had 14 points. He was impressive. I think he has teams like Michigan, Illinois, several other big programs reaching out to him. He played really, really good. He was playing against Cooper Flagg and matched up in a couple of matchups as well. So those are the ones that stood out to me. And then, man, it got to be Team Takeover versus Vegas Elite. That game was electric in the first half between John Mobley and obviously Darren Reed. Those two, man, when I say going at each other, when I say just playing at a great pace, I mean, Craig, I haven't seen a game in a long time where two guys are just going at it. Like, okay, I'm going to one-up you. I'm going to hit a 3. No, I'm going to go and hit a 3 in your face. No, I'm going to come back down the next position, hit another 3 in your face. Like, they were just going at it. It was such an electric first half. I have not seen high school basketball like that in a long time. And it was, very, very impressive.
Yeah, I got Team Takeover right here. It looks like they're the only team that's a 3-time champion. And, I mean, these AAU pretty much just all-star, superstar teams, it really is amazing. You make it on one of these elite teams, the exposure, this is where you really kind of sharpen the iron heading into your high school team. And it really is just different from other sports with how important these showcases are. It's not like 7-on-7. This is real basketball.
Yes.
Real people watching you.
Yes, 100% agree. I definitely think it is big, and I mean it's getting bigger. And like I say, you get to see some of the top talent in the country there, and see players, seen some from 14U playing up to 16U, or some from 15U playing up to 17U. So that part was impressive. It was as advertised. Those players really can play. I see why they're some of the top players in the country for a reason. So it was impressive seeing all of them play in person. But let's transition to our next segment. Some alignment that's really been impressing me. These young offensive line studs for Carrollton, right? Taylor Willis, got to see him up close and personal. He's going to be the starting, I think, left guard for Carrollton, the class of 2026. Impressed me at MVP camps for Rusty. Really good drive, man. Really good with his hands. They're taught early, like be able to, because defensive linemen can kind of knock their hands off, learning how to reposition their hands and things like that. He's going to be starting for Carrollton, and then their other young offensive lineman, Zyke Hilton, actually just committed to the University of Alabama. So let's pull that up really quick so you guys can see that.
Yep, and that's one of the things I was so excited about Carrollton last year. They were young, not just at the quarterback position, everywhere. And then we saw underclassmen competing last year, but there's even more underclassmen that are going to be debuting this year. I mean, Carrollton's really been loading up, and I think the offensive line play with a guy like Juju back there and the offense they run, and then you have Joey King, who's coached Trevor Lawrence in the past. I mean, he knows how to get that offensive line gelling, communicating, and just playing well together, which is exactly what these colleges want to see.
100%. And I mean, I think Alabama getting this guy early is a good thing. Some have been clowning them because they don't think they got the best 2024 class. I think currently Alabama's number 17. But I mean, to land this kind of guy early on in the 26 class, I think their first commit from that sophomore, rising sophomore class, I think is a big thing. I mean, obviously he's as advertised. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a Carrollton game this upcoming year. And I mean, it'll be exciting to watch kind of their offensive line do work.
Yep, and it's an exciting commitment for him. Obviously, Alabama is a great school, but Carrollton is just right on that Alabama border, so he doesn't have to go far at all. They've had history of recruiting strong in that area, and there's a lot of great teams around there too. So I think that's good to get him young, get a solid offensive lineman that they'll get to see develop in these upcoming seasons.
100%. And then we're going to keep it going, guys. Another topic we wanted to talk about was Peachtree Ridge, right? This is actually one of my sleepers going into the season. I actually want to take a look at their region, and I want you to see this as well, Craig, and we can analyze this together. But I don't see why they can't win their region. I think they'll be very, very competitive. But yes, here's the region, guys. I want you guys to be able to see this right here. So I think Peachtree Ridge has some really good players, right? Darnell Kelly this past offseason really impressed me. He had a really good spring, even his coach said so when I interviewed him on Friday. You know, we'll see if he's a starter. Obviously, they have to figure out their QB situation with the one that is really good in baseball. We'll see what he decides to do, but I definitely think Kelly should be the starter. He's about 6'2" now, really great arm strength, good deep ball, really, really elusive. I think he's going to be a guy that can put Peachtree Ridge over the top. But other guys to look out for this upcoming season: AJ Perry, right, wide receiver; Miles Abernathy, the kind of tight end flex player. Had a broken collarbone, broke it twice last year. He's coming back this upcoming season. He's going to be a player to watch. Has already over 10, I think, different D1 offers, right? So you got him, and then you got Darnell Kelly, and then you got Lamar White, who's actually Roddy White's son. Actually was hurt last season. He's going to play a big role for them this upcoming season as well. And then their safety, Josh Brown, has 10 to 12 offers. Had a really good year last season. His coach Helmrich said he's their most physical player. I think that was either last year was his first year or second year playing tackle football. So he really impressed him. I think he's about 6'1". That's another player to watch. And last but not least is going to be Darius Wallace, their linebacker, really good in basketball as well. Has offers from Syracuse, UNC Charlotte, and many, many others. So this is the team for me, and I'll throw it to Craig in a second, that I'm really excited to see because, okay, so in the region, Berkmar, Discovery, Duluth, Meadow Creek, Norcross, North Gwinnett, and the Peachtree Ridge. I don't see this region historically, as you might say it's dominated by Norcross, but I don't see a dominant team necessarily in this region, right? North Gwinnett has some potential with Eric Godfrey, but he's coming in there new, right? They're very young. They have a young sophomore class, a bunch of young guys, right? They're not junior led, they're not senior led, only a couple. So I think this region is wide open.
Absolutely. Before last season, and same region this year as this past season. So the year before that, they were in there with Collins Hill, Mill Creek. They got swept.
Yeah.
Last year, they were one of the most improved teams in 7A. Coach Helmrich went over there from Johns Creek, and they started off really strong in non-region play. We had them on the show mid-season. He said they, I think, lost 6 players in a span of 2 weeks with injuries, and literally had one returning starter from the previous year, a team that he wasn't even at the helm. I think they have a chance to be one of the most improved this year, without a doubt. We saw it at the 7-on-7 with defensively, the size they have in the secondary, the speed. They have a lot of guys that are breaking to the seam, but have already picked up the offers. But I think the big thing is you have that support system with Roddy White, his son. There is some real excitement in that community. Roddy White is no stranger to high school football either. He was at Johns Creek with Helmrich before he went over to Peachtree Ridge. So I think it's going to be exciting. They're really trying to get back on track. They have not won a region title since 2008. That was their first one. And if you look at that year I was talking about, 2021 with Collins Hill, Mill Creek, they scored 72 points the entire season, 7 points a game. So last year, they were a playoff team last year. So they already made a really significant leap with a team that had no returning starters. I think there's a lot of excitement heading into this year, what they're going to be able to do. And they can match up with North Gwinnett, which was competitive last year, and then a big game against Norcross, who I think Norcross had one of their better teams last year. They're always going to be good, but I think it is going to be way more evenly matched.
100% agree with you. And I think, if I had to throw a top 4, I would say in there, I would throw in Peachtree Ridge, I throw in North Gwinnett, Norcross. My 4th would actually be Meadow Creek. Really like them. Yep. Really like what I've seen from them at the 707 Invitational. They just like they're going to be competitive this year. I know they lost some guys, but they got big Donovan Thompson there that's going to spearhead their offensive line. They got some good skill position players. I think they're going to be another team to watch. Meadow Creek potentially, making a playoff run this year. But I'm super excited to watch. I think this is a wide open region. Really, really great teams on both sides. But yeah, I think, they have equally as a good chance to make a deep run. And one more quick note, Peachtree Ridge actually made the playoffs for the first time last year in 7 years.
That's right. Yeah. And I think they have a healthy quarterback competition too. They got 2 guys that can really ball out. But it was funny because at the 7-on-7, we were talking to my good friend, but Norcross's offensive coordinator, who's going over last season and looking at Peachtree Ridge. And then we saw Norcross go head-to-head with Peachtree Ridge. Peachtree Ridge completely destroyed them. These were shortened game, 16 minutes long. I think the score was like 42-10, probably the highest scoring game we saw. I mean, their receivers just kept scoring touchdowns, and they really dominated that matchup. So it'll be interesting to see the actual football game, but I think that Norcross Peachtree Ridge game will be a significant one, possibly for home field in the playoffs.
100%. I can't wait. That's going to be a fun region to watch for. Great points by you, Craig. So, yeah, keep it locked for that. But now let's highlight actually a player Craig brought up. We're going to go to his spring tape. I think this is a good one. So we are implementing a section now to our show. Every single Tuesday, we are going to highlight a player, whether Craig chooses, me chooses, whoever. We're going to highlight his film, whether that's on his huddle, his Twitter, anything like that. So anybody that's watching the show, players, parents, who wants to highlight player, so just on the DMs at Craig Sager, at Najee Wook on Twitter. So let's go ahead and get a player and look at his spring highlights.
Okay, so what you're going to see with Phoenix Moss here, what I like about him, he's got size. He's, I think, 6'1", 210, 215, strong player. Look at the speed, though. He runs a 10.92 in the 100. You're going to see him catch this, take it to the house. This is against, I believe, Riverwood in the spring game. So that's a big 80-yard touchdown. But look at the physicality with some of these blocks coming up. He's taking handoffs. He did do a little of both last year as well. But he's just a physical guy. He's already committed to Navy. I think that happened last month. Trinity Christian has a history of sending guys to the academies. I just think he's going to be a really solid player this year. He's going to do it all. He's got that incredible region he's going to be in with Troop, Stars Mill, Whitewater, and LaGrange. But I think he has a big opportunity this season, and he's just a solid high school football player all around. And it's an easy name to remember, Phoenix Moss.
Phoenix Moss. All right, guys. So that's the player we're highlighting today. Phoenix Moss from Trinity Christian. Keep an eye on him. This is his Twitter handle below. We're going to share that as well. Hold on one second, y'all.
Yeah, they're definitely going to want to get the ball in his hands this year. You saw the physicality he brings to the table.
He does look very physical. I can't say that. It does look like he finishes his blocks really well. Look like a guy that could be a red zone threat as well. He's sitting at 6'1", 205 out there in Fayetteville. Looks like he runs a 4.5 40. Very aggressive. I think he'll be a great addition to the Navy team. And he actually committed June 26th. So I think they're getting a great player, very physical. Great point out by you, Craig. I think this is a good player. We should keep an eye on for next season. So Phoenix Moss, go give him a follow, guys. That's a player to keep an eye on going into next season. So great addition right there. All right, guys. So one more section we're going to talk about, and before we conclude our first segment, the high school, we're going to talk about Colin Hulk. Actually drafted 32nd overall to the New York Mets. Very exciting for the QB1 for Parkview Panthers. Led his team to a finals, a World Series finals berth against Lowndes. Unfortunately, came up a little bit short, but Parkview had a really, really great team. He was a big part of it. He's actually was going to go to Mississippi State, but just got drafted 32nd overall to the New York Mets. That is exciting. Just what stood out to you, Craig? I think you went to actually his game when they played Lowndes. What stood out to you just about his baseball game, a little bit about his football game?
And he was one of the best baseball players to ever come to the state. He won Gatorade Player of the Year this season. Parkview is obviously Georgia's perennial powerhouse. Thought that Lowndes team, though, had something special this year. They were really senior-led, had a great pitching staff, and once they won that first game one, I think they had the series in the bag. But you look at Colin, he can pitch. He's got the arm, but his batting's unbelievable. Let's see, he hit 487 this past season, 487 with 8 home runs, 16 stolen bases. He's durable. He's physical. He's a big guy. He was an outstanding quarterback that could have played college football if he wanted to, but I think he's always had the baseball dream. For him to go in the first round is huge. He said he was a Braves fan growing up, but I think he's happy to put on the Mets uniform, and that's exciting. Definitely paid off, and congrats to him.
No, 100%, man. I mean, he had a great career. I enjoyed watching him last season. He was one of the reasons why I had Parkview going really far. Seen him in the Corky Kell, the first game of the season when we played Johns Creek, and he was just lighting it up as far as the pass plays, and he was their staple last season, 100%. I think they made it all the way to the quarters last year. But, man, just exciting to see him play on the next level. Obviously, Parkview is one of those, great teams right now in baseball, team to watch for, always producing really good talent. And I think a cool stat, actually, I think the past 10 players have come from the Greater Atlanta area that have been drafted in the MLB draft. So, I mean, they are doing a great job. I think 5 more players were taken in the first round in the draft on Monday. So, they're doing an absolutely great job, man, of producing this talent, getting it ready. And the cool thing about baseball, you can go straight from high school and play. Obviously, he'll probably start in the minors and then work his way up. But, I mean, this is just exciting news, man. And he has a bright future and career ahead of him.
100%. And yeah, he was committed to Mississippi State. We'll see kind of what happens with that, but I believe he's going to play shortstop for the Mets. So it's a big deal.
Huge deal. I mean, to already have that locked up is huge. So, man, we keep it going. That's all we got for our first segment. We're going to jump to our second segment right now, guys, and talk a little bit about UCF and their blazing recruiting trail right now. Currently, I don't really agree with this ranking right now. This 2020. Oh, this is 2023. I was going to say, I was like, I don't think they're ranking. That doesn't add up. Oh, this is even worse. Okay. They are currently number 46, according to 247 Sports. Don't really agree with that, but let's look at some of the talent they've gotten actually so far, and you guys can look with me or with us. But man, I mean, you talk about knocking out the box. I thought getting the recruitment first, it was Walt Claire Flynn, and then it kind of was a residual effect after that, kind of a domino effect after getting Walt Claire Flynn and got the same guy, Colin Fox, athlete, can play defensive end, can play tight end. Dynamic weapon. I really thought, man, last year he was underused in that Grayson offense. I hope they use him more going forward. But I mean, this guy here just, same things you mentioned about Phoenix Moss, physical. He's just, a little more athletic. Colin Fox is great weapon, really good. Use him on both sides of the ball. I think them nailing these two were huge. They also was able to get Jacob Good, the safety from Fairborn, going to be playing at Langston Hughes, previously at Sandy Creek. I thought this was another big get for them. Recently announced. I think it's going to be a great weapon for them. Then they also got Quiet Birdsong from Troup County, who decommitted from Cincinnati, now going to UCF. That was another big get. Also got Christian Peterson recently, another safety, about 5'9.5", 5'10" almost, 3-star player. They got him recently, who announced his commitment to UCF. So they've gotten some guys. Obviously, some guys here are 3 stars, but I thought just what they've been getting from Georgia has been huge.
It is huge. Yeah, you mentioned Christian Peterson from Westlake. Westlake secondary, man. Some of the prospects the last decade, it's insane. Avian Terrell.
Yeah.
I mean, they send
AJ
pretty
Terrell.
much, 4 guys from that secondary every single year, make it big. So, I mean, starting in that safety role, that's huge. He's physical, he's fast, and he'll have a big game against Juju Lewis and Carrollton in region play this year to watch. Christian Peterson. And then I really like Quay Birdsong from Troup, physical player,
100%.
solid, reliable, big-time playmaker. And then the other thing about UCF is they're also hitting that class of 2025.
Yeah, they are. And actually, let's take a look at that. Great point you made by Craig. I was actually there at his commitment. I thought this was big. I kind of figured he was going to go there. He had Virginia Tech, Cincinnati, but it just made the most sense. So only 2 recruits right now currently, but look where they're at right now already. We're all 9th already. They landed a 4-star running back from, it's like Osceola from Kissimmee, Florida, running back, 5'9", and committed in April. And then EJ Colson, I thought was a huge one, 5'11". Have him as a 3-star on here, but I've seen other things. He's been a 4-star. I mean, what I can tell you guys about EJ Colson, any UCF fans watching, is that the guy is a different breed, right? He is somebody that is never rattled, right? He always makes the good throws, always makes the good decisions. EJ is just a guy that plays, great football. And then the program he plays for in Cedar Grove, right? They don't run from playing the top teams in the country, right? Or top teams in the state, right? They are playing the Mill Creeks. They're playing the Collins Hills. They're playing Westlakes. They're playing whoever it is on the schedule they can get on there, they're going to play. And they are a 3A school, smaller school, and they don't care who they play. They will play 6A, 7A. They'll play out-of-state teams, big-time out-of-state teams. That they don't care. John Adams does such a great job of getting that group ready. And as EJ said in the interview, he felt like last season that loss kind of fueled them, and he's ready to go. And he's still got 2 more years, man. That's the cool thing. And last year they played in the state championship game and came up a little bit short of Sandy Creek. An unfortunate call. That's why we have instant replay now. But this is a team. He's a quarterback that leads a group, and they're going to be right back there, I think, this season. I think this is their state title to lose out there in 3A.
Yeah, he obviously didn't lose them that game. He
No.
just had one of the best seasons we've seen from a sophomore, considering the schedule they went up against. It's insane.
Absolutely.
Like offensively, he really did run the show and made great passes. The accuracy was insane. Didn't turn it over. Really mature quarterback playing for that program, and the fact that we get 2 more years of
Two
him
more.
competing against these programs before he steps on college campus, watch out. You know he's going to be ready to go.
Easily. And then he's talking about things of improving his game, y'all, because I talked to him personally, and he was just like, to continue to learn his reads and get better and, continue to build that trust and build that chemistry with his wide receivers. I mean, this is just a great all-around kid. No nonsense. Great dad, great family. So that's somebody to watch, man. And like I said, UCF is tearing it up. I know they don't have the ranking. I think they should at least be a top 25 ranking right now, what they have, but they're currently 46 in the 2024 class. But I think them hammering down Georgia, landing, I think the past 5 recruits is just insane. So,
yeah, he had 29 passing touchdowns last year, 6 interceptions, and then 500 yards rushing, 10 touchdowns. So, I mean, he really showed his athleticism. 100%. Almost led them to a state title, a toss-up game that ended controversially, and definitely people are saying Cedar Grove's the favorite this year.
100%. And then we got one more we want to show y'all, Georgia Tech. Y'all got to see this right here. Their 2024 commits. They have moved up. They're currently 18 right now, Craig. I think they were like 30 at one point. So, again, a lot of people were like, oh, they're not landing any 4-stars. So, recently they actually have. They've landed a couple 4-star players, unless it changed. But CJ Jackson, I know, was one of them. Isaiah Canyon was another one, and they just landed a 4-star corner, I believe. I'm trying to see where it is.
Is that Troy Stevenson?
Yes, Troy Stevenson. But yeah, I think Georgia Tech and their commitments and what they've been getting lately was good. They flipped Isaiah Canyon from Notre Dame to Georgia Tech to stay in state. Same thing with CJ Jackson. He had some big offers, Georgia, Bama, LSU, and they kept them in state. All these commitments, I think, were huge for that program. I think they're doing a great job. Here's the 4-star player we're talking about, Troy Stevenson, might play corner for them. Man, I mean, I think Georgia Tech's doing a phenomenal job of recruiting in-state, keeping their players here, and then, recruiting out-of-state as well. Again, as I've been saying, and you guys have been watching our shows, I think they're a program on the rise. They got a lot going for them.
Yeah, what I like about Isaiah Canyon, he played quarterback for Warner Robins a lot of the games last year, led them to the state finals. They ended up losing to Ware County, but they've got him locked up as a receiver. He's got the size. He obviously understands the game. He's a leader.
Yep.
I think that's an exciting move. I like to see when you see a guy go from the quarterback position to a specific receiver role. I think that's going to translate really well, and they'll have a guy that is really versatile, understands the game, can handle the pressure, and you just can't just discount how much benefit you get from being a starting quarterback. I mean, that is just invaluable experience.
100%, and that's going to be valuable down the line. I mean, he's going to be a great get for them. CJ Jackson, the 4-star player, that was another great get, I think, for them, keeping him in state. He's going to play for Tucker this season. Tucker's going to be a program to watch out of the cab and out there. They're going to be a fun program to watch. They also have Hassan Sykes and several other players. But, yeah, man, I think Georgia Tech's doing a phenomenal job. Watch out for them. They're continuing to blow it up. But, Craig, I know you're going to be covering Georgia on our shows, at least for this one, as far as recruiting and in their season. I'm going to be covering Tech. But just what have you been seeing so far as far as the recruits they're landing? Anything that's standing out to you? What's your kind of intel you got?
I think the biggest storyline right now with Georgia is the offensive line and what's being described as monsters that they've been landing for this upcoming class. You look at a guy like Daniel Calhoun, one of the biggest linemen in the state, in the country. He's average size for this next class. I mean, it is insane, just the sheer size. So let's pull it up real quick just to go over this upcoming class. And some of these have been really recent. All right, offensive line. You got Daniel Calhoun, 6'6.5", 365 pounds. That is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is bigger than the average line on the NFL by far. 365, just a force. You got, and obviously the defensive line, the packing on the size too. Michael Uni from Texas, 6'7", 335 pounds. 6'7". Nair Daniels from Virgin Catholic, the powerhouse from New Jersey, 6'8", 360. Got power
You got
forwards
basketball players
everywhere.
Yeah, literally.
All right. Marcus Harrison, 6'7.5", 336 pounds from St. Francis, New York. And then on the interior line from Cartersville, another outstanding player. He's been committed for a while, but Malachi Tolliver, 6'5.5", 320 pounds. So I think that just stands out. I mean, you have a massive, massive offensive line, and you obviously have quarterbacks that are committed. You're the two-time defending champs. I think Georgia's building just that physical, unstoppable Alabama brand.
I mean, yeah. To follow that up, I 100% agree with Craig. I think they're continuing to build that offensive line of what they like to do, and that's to run the football and do play action, right? Georgia's been a dominant team. We've seen the kind of running backs they've had go to the NFL, right? The Nick Chubbs of the world, the Sony Michels, the Kendall, or I think Kendall Milton's coming back, the DeAndre Swifts, right? Players like that ending up in the league and, having an impact, going out. So I think that's what you do. When you get a line like that, that's probably what averaging, 6'6", 6'7" almost?
Yeah.
That's like all you're doing.
340, 350.
340, 350.
Just massive.
That's all you're doing. You're just building on that, and they're building on their strengths, and they're continuing to be able to build a line that's going to be the one, protect their quarterback, and then two, be able to run the football and keep defenses guessing and honest. So Georgia's knocking out the box.
100%. And then just think about the potential with formations. Obviously, they have Brock Bowers right now, but they're always going to have that star tight end. They can go two tight ends. They can just go massive in the formation, get those long, sustained drives, or they can just have that big protection up front, spread it out. I mean, having that size up front and knowing that it's an advantage, you can take it. Yeah, you can take advantage of that every single game based on how the opposing defense. Are they big and physical up front? Do they have a good secondary? That just gives them versatility for sure. And I'm excited that a lot of these prospects that recently signed will get to see compete this season with Tolliver and, of course, Daniel Calhoun making his Walton debut.
100%, man. And real quick note about Daniel Calhoun, man. Y'all go check out his Twitter, man. I mean, if you guys were able to go to that paddock camp last Thursday at Milton when they played, I mean, like I said on the shows I had last week, right, on my show and then filling in for Craig, I've not seen Walton so far in my career, at least covering high school sports, have a staple left tackle. Maybe Craig can allude to it more because he's, alumni there. He follows the program very heavily, but I have not seen them have a staple at the left tackle position protecting the blind side of, any of the quarterbacks. Jamie Helinski, his senior year, I have not seen that. And I think that's exciting. They're going to have somebody that's going to be able to protect, and also have somebody that's going to be really good in run support and create big holes for running backs. Makari Bada for a 3-star going to Memphis. We've been talking about Walton so much and how talented we think they're going to be this year. But Craig, addition your eyes before we move on, have you seen them have a staple left tackle like that?
No, and we've always had great offensive lines at Walton. Had good centers. We've had Brandon Cabano, who's probably the most highly recruited. He did go to Georgia, played a lot of games there, but he was a guard, also played center. But in terms of just a huge, high-profile left tackle, which is obviously the most important in many offensive systems for your offensive line. I mean, he's got to be able to protect the edge. That's where they're going to be lining up, trying to pursue all the pressure, flush the quarterback out the pocket. No, we have not had that. I think it's really dangerous because he's so big, we aren't going to be able to go inside on him. It's going to be too congested. We're going to have to try to beat him outside. Well, there goes Makari Bodiford.
100%. I mean, you're going to have to pick your poison when it comes to Walton, right? You can't play 9 in the box. If you do, Jamie Hillen's going to tear you up with all those weapons he got in, Hunter Teal, Drew Cascone, Cameron Lloyd, Wyatt Sonderman. Or if you don't, you play spread, they're going to tear you up in the run game. So defenses are going to really have to pick their poison when it comes to playing Walton.
Let's hit him with the sweep. Now let's counter. It's just Daniel Calhoun's on that left tackle. You're running right up the lane.
100%.
It's going to be fun. He's going to be such a key piece.
Yes, definitely. But keep it locked for that, guys. We're gonna move to our third segment. But yes, we will have every show going forward. One player we're gonna highlight, underrated and overlooked player. So keep it locked for that. I'll have one, or Craig will have one. And going forward, I think we're gonna have for the season, since we're only about a month away. We're gonna label it Najee's notes. So anything on Georgia Tech, I will be covering as far as their football team, any news or anything as far as recruiting they're doing, or anything as far as their players, the current college football team. And then Craig will be having Craig's intel as far as latest with UGA, anything they're doing. So I think it'll be a very fun college segment, and obviously we'll have other topics as well. In the season, anything that has stood out to us as far as college football season. So keep it locked for that. Make sure you give a like to the live stream. Appreciate you guys tuning in. But let's move to the third segment. I mean, this is an outlandish question. I did ask it, but I think people with social media, they're just so over the top. Like, they're already trying to call Victor Wembanyama a bust after 2 games. The first game, they were like, oh, yeah, he doesn't have it. He had 9 points, I think 8 rebounds, 3 blocks. But he was 2 for 13 from the field, a couple turnovers. But I just think, like, they don't allow the player to fill it out, right? Like, you got to think about it, right? In my opinion, I still think NBA reigns supreme over other leagues, right? But I do think the international competition is catching up. But you got to think about it. The top players in the world are still coming over to the NBA to play in. So if that was not the case, then you would say, okay, hey, there's an adjustment period, right? He's not going to just be a star the first couple of games of Summer League. And Summer League doesn't really matter. It's just you getting reps, right, for the season. That's it. You getting reps before you go to off-season training and all that stuff. So had a great second game, 27 points, 12 boards. I think he shot 66% from the field. But give the man a chance to thrive, y'all. It's still very early in his career. That 7'3" wingspan, that 7'3" height, 19 years old. He's going to grow into his body, right? He's young. He's a little bit, on the skinnier side. Reminds me a little bit of Katie, kind of just, flanky, a little bit, skinny and things like that. But he's going to be a player that, they drafted him number 1 overall for a reason, right? So let him grow into his body. Get him in some time to develop. I think he'll be just fine. One thing I noticed real quick, I'll throw to Craig. I liked his lateral movement and agility. I think at that 7'3" height, he can guard wings, which is, very tough for guys of that size. He's already kind of shown that. He's shown the ability to protect the rim. He's shown a nice little ball handle that he has. He's unselfish. He's good with facilitating, getting to the rim, setting up his teammates. And he has a nice jumper as well. So, man, give the man time to kind of, fill himself out. And again, adjustment is NBA takes time to adjust when you get to the league, right? It is the creme de la creme of basketball across the world. Let's remember that.
No, it absolutely is. I think people are jumping on this because we have seen bust in the past. But, I mean, in terms of a bust, let's look at this draft class. If he turns out where maybe he's not the most productive career player from this draft class, is he a bust? No, that's not what a bust is. He was the clear number 1 pick. I think most people know that just based off his size, potential, what the Spurs needed. I think he's got to be patient. He decided not to compete internationally. He's focusing on his new teammates. He's not going out there trying to score 40 points. 2 of 13, is that a good game? Of course not. But I also think he's trying to gel with his teammates, learn the system, and you can't expect him to come out and average a triple-double right away.
Yeah, man, like let them get acclimated first, y'all. I mean, and again, it's summer league, right? So it takes time. Giannis, when he started, he wasn't tearing the league up, right? They was like, oh, who's this guy, this 6'10" guy, 6'9" guy from Greece, right? Look what he grew into. Like, he's a potential Hall of Famer, Look how he built his body. And I get resemblance, and the only reason I bring that up is because he was dedicated to his craft and his game. And I love the answers that Victor Wembanyama gave, right? He gave honest, candid answers of, I was just trying to figure stuff out, and I was just going out there just playing. It's going to take time, guys. But if he's dedicated like Giannis is, look what he could turn himself into. And I think Giannis is a potential Hall of Famer. Not saying Victor's going to be that, but if he's dedicated to his craft, he's working hard, he's continuing to get better, you never know, So give it time, y'all.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to have some attitude right now where he's going out there, I'm the number 1 player, I'm trying to take over the league. That's not what he's trying to do right now. He's trying to get with his teammates, figure out the system, get better, and just learn how to just gel with them to where you can sustain an entire season, 100%. Get back in the playoffs, and try to just show up when it matters.
100%. We're doing good, Jordan. We appreciate you tuning in, man. Doing good. Trying to keep this thing going, man. And we're excited for the season. We're about a month away, man. If you have any questions, there's 2 people watching, just drop it down low. Give us a like on the live stream. definitely helps us out and goes a long way on our YouTube page. But let's keep it going. Addition of Grant Williams. I think he's going to the Dallas Mavericks. Do you think that will help their team?
Certainly. I mean, the Mavericks are an interesting franchise right now. Just like not really sure what direction they're trying to go in, but I think him coming over from the Celtics, he's a big time playmaker, SEC Player of the Year twice, and then I think the situation there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there an incident in the playoffs this year with him and Jimmy Butler?
Yes, there
Where
was. Yes.
he kind of provoked him.
Yep.
And then Boston did what Boston can do sometimes. They kind of fell apart after that.
Yeah.
I think that was something that should set an example. Like if you can't, I mean, don't talk trash to one of the best players. Like it's just, we saw that so much in the playoffs this year. Guys running their mouth, and then that's just basketball, and then you're gonna eat those
Dylan
words
Brooks
later.
is another one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think the Celtics were too comfortable in a lot of ways, and I think him going to the Mavericks, he's an opportunity to just step up with them. He's a great player. He's a star. He brings good defensive intensity. But yeah, I mean, the Mavericks are going to be competing in a really tough conference.
Yeah, I think it was a good move for them. They need defense, right? They need defensive tenacity. He's a guy that doesn't mind poking the bear a little bit. Dallas kind of needs that, right? They already got their scores lined up with Luke and Kyrie, right? They're going to need other pieces to fill around them, right? I think they tried to sign also Matisse Thybulle from Portland, who I think matched his offer. They're trying to get him as well, right? You need guys that are going to go get it, go guard the best perimeter players and make it difficult for them. Not necessarily stop them, but make it difficult, make them go into turnovers and things like that. That's what Grant Williams is going to add. He's going to add a different level of flow, tenacity, flavor to the Mavs that they kind of need. So I think it's a great addition for them. It did get traded, so I think it's going to be a great kind of piece for them. We'll see how they build out the rest of the roster. They did re-sign Kyrie to a really big deal, 3 years. I think he got over 100+ million guaranteed. So they're going to keep Kyrie for the foreseeable future. We'll see how that fit pairs and goes. They were close. They were in playoff contention. They ended up falling short a little bit later in the season, but we'll see if they are able to get back in contention and make some noise.
What do you think this means for the Celtics or Dallas? Just are they done making moves, or just what percentage do you think they are just in terms of off-season moves, free agents, trades?
Right. What's going on, Jimmy, man? We appreciate the comment. Where I think they are, Celtics, I think, so we just had the draft. I mean, we've had most of the free agents. They might add a couple more pieces, I think, for the Celtics. Maybe, a couple undrafted pieces. But I think for the most part, unless they make a big trade, like I heard they're actually rumors trying to get Damian Lillard, even though he's kind of set on Miami, the Celtics might have more of the pieces in place to actually land a Damian Lillard, right? They got draft picks, right? They got core players that they could send and things like that. So, I mean, Celtics, they've lost some pieces now, right? They don't got Grant Williams anymore. They don't have Marcus Smart, but I heard they believe really heavy into, gosh, I'm running a blank on his name, guys. What's the guy's name they got from San Antonio? I'm running a blank. They added a player, though. I can't think of his name. Derek White. That's his name. I couldn't think of it. Yes, they got Derek White, who they believe in. So I think the Celtics are not done. I think they're going to make a couple more moves. I think the Mavericks are not done either. I think they're going to make a couple more moves. They still need to get longer wings to be able to defend. I think they're good on scoring. Maybe a couple pieces off the bench they need to add for depth and things like that. They need to do that. Celtics, same thing. And they need to add a couple more pieces in there to kind of fill out their roster, right? Celtics have been hitting close, getting close. But, we'll see what they're able to do.
If you're Jaylen Brown, what are you thinking heading into this next season? Just in terms of what his role is going to be, what he needs to do better.
I mean, like on social media, they're saying he don't have a left hand.
Okay.
That's what they're saying. I'm not saying it's true, but I would just say,
funny.
Yeah, I would just say continue to improve his handle.
Because I definitely don't.
Being able to create off the bounce. It seems like a lot of teams, as has been said, Gabe Vincent and others have said, yeah, we're going to force him left. So that has been said in press conferences after. So I think continue to improve his handle, being able to create off the dribble, being able to create his game for others as well, right? Sometimes I feel like they do a little ISO ball. I think Jason Tatum's gotten better with creating off the dribble and getting others involved. So being that piece, being that 1A, 1B piece along with Jason Tatum and continue to improve and hone on his craft and being able to come up in big moments. I think that's what I would say for our improvement for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah. That's interesting. Then, do you think there's any potential blockbuster trades coming up?
The biggest one I see is Damian Lillard. I mean, that's the big one right now. I think if Miami gets him, I think they can win a ring. Why? Is because I think it's a sniper extraordinaire. He's on, I won't say the same level as Steph Curry, but if I had to rank them, right, I would put Steph here, Damian Lillard's right here. Like, that's how close they are. And Damian Lillard takes over Steph as far as being clutch and hitting big shots in big moments and being that player. 5 minutes, less than 4 minutes to go, I'm going to get the ball in his hands.
Yeah, whereas
That's
Steph,
Lillard.
like he'll have a game where he's just dominating, but in the clutch moments, 2 minutes left, Damian just.
I'm gonna just give it to Dame. Yeah. Yes, I mean not that Steph don't have it, but
Yeah,
Dame takes it to another damn level. You know what I'm saying? And it's rare. So I think that's the one we're going to see. Other than that, I don't really foresee many big moves. What about you?
No, I was just thinking like sometimes one big move can get things going. We'll see a couple more players move around, but yeah, I haven't really heard much talk about it. But
no,
we'll see.
100%. But no worries, Jimmy, man. We appreciate it, man. I know people have work during this time, man. So just the fact you're tuning in, whatever you can, man. We just appreciate the fan base we've been building on here, man. So, man, we appreciate the comments and always tuning in, man. So, really means a lot. It says, will LeBron come to ATL season after next? Look, man, don't be surprised, okay? I will say this really quick. I do think the Lakers can make a run to a championship, right? I think they've done good retooling their roster, getting Gabe Vincent, getting Cam Reddish, getting Taurean Prince, surrounding their bench around, re-signing Roy Hamushimura, re-signing Austin Reeves, re-signing D'Angelo Russell. I think they can make a run. The thing with the Lakers, as always, it's going to be Anthony Davis, right? It's not LeBron anymore. He's, kind of past his prime. He's still, doing great things. But AD has to be the best player. He has to play. I think he needs to play more than 60-plus games this season for them to have a better, chance at, making a deep run. And I would not be shocked if LeBron came. I think LeBron, what's going to happen, if LeBron wins the title, maybe he'll wait. But he wants to play with his son, right? So I think whatever team drafts Bronny, that's the team you could see LeBron with. Maybe LeBron can't get it that first season, like that he comes to the league, but I think he wants to play at least one season with his son. So if the Atlanta does draft him, don't be surprised he tries to make a move to ATL. I wouldn't be shocked.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, the tickets I know will be off the chain here in the ATL. We will have more traffic than we already have. Please, if you don't live in Atlanta, stop coming because it's already insane here. The prices are ridiculous.
I don't understand people that are like, no, keep coming here.
No,
I'm like,
stop
seriously?
coming. Please, just stay where you're at.
I
we
went
don't
downtown
need no more people. Please.
to pick up my number for the Peachtree. I went to the World Congress Center. There's like 6 new buildings going up right next to Mercedes-Benz, like massive ones that are taking over the skyline.
Yeah, enough is enough.
Yeah, we're growing real fast.
Yeah, but wait, Jimmy, wait. You said Atlanta's starving for a superstar, and they got Ronald Acuna Jr. What do you mean? That's a superstar. They got Ozzy Albies. He's great, but Acuna Jr. is a superstar for the Braves, right? Or am I tripping? Daniel, am I tripping? Isn't Acuna a superstar for the Braves?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because he said Atlanta's starving for a superstar, so I'm making sure. Okay. So they got one there. Basketball. What about Trae Young? Trae Young's not a star. No.
Oh,
that's messed up. He said too ugly. That's messed up. Atlanta. I think Atlanta's budding on superstar, right? If Kyle Pitts can stay healthy or star. Kyle Pitts can stay healthy. He can churn out another 1,000-yard season. I think they potentially got a chance there, right? Another player. I think Bijan Robinson has a potential chance to be a star for Atlanta. I know it's early, but that kid has the it factor, right? Played at Texas, won multiple awards, multiple running back awards. That kid also, I think, has star potential, right? But so Trey's not super. So you think Trey's a star? Okay, so Jimmy's saying there's levels to it. So you think Trey's a star, not a superstar. I mean, I can't really disagree. I mean, I don't think he's a superstar either. I think he is a star. But
I think it's sad, but in football, it's like unless you're one of these big-time quarterbacks, like for a player on the Falcons to become a superstar this year, they'd have to be like top 5 fantasy. Like they'd have to be a guy where everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is the hottest guy like in the league right now. He's saving me. Then people really start to respect him. If Bijan comes out and has a massive game where he rushes for 2 touchdowns, catches 2 touchdowns, I think that'll put him on the map, and then people really start to see what he's doing. But we'll see.
One thing I can say real quick in my transition, I don't think there's a lot of superstars in the sport of football. I think there's a lot of stars, but superstar, I mean, that's a tough one, Jimmy. I mean, like that don't grow on trees. That's very rare. Like I think if you say superstar, I think Mahomes is in there. Then you got to put Joe Burrow in there. Receiver wise, Justin Jefferson. You got to throw, I think, Jamar Chase in there. Vontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, players like that. But I mean, superstar is hard, man. So, I mean, we will see potentially, but I think your Falcons will be a lot better this year. I think that's something to look forward to if you're a Falcons fan. But last topic, appreciate the 5 people that were tuning in, man. Thank y'all so much. Make sure y'all give a like to the live stream, man. Live every Tuesday at 12. Last one is who are you taking to win the Wimbledon? For me right now, I was impressed with the game yesterday. Alcaraz Garcia, he won 3 straight from Spain, 3 straight sets after dropping his first set. I think the championship game in the men's will be between Djokovic and Garcia. I think those two are playing some excellent tennis right now. Eubanks had a great upset. I think he went to Blessed Trinity or a school in Georgia or Westlake. I'm sorry. There was a school he went to.
That's what someone said yesterday.
Yes, but he actually won against Stefanos Tsitsipas. 3 sets to 2 and a very competitive and all watching kind of fight between those two, and those two played great. So shout out to him. He's still playing in the quarterfinals. And then women, I think it's a toss up for me, right? Jessica Pegula, she's playing well for USA. She I think plays later on today. My pick was Swiatek, but she actually got upsetted today by Splitalina. Swiatek was the number 1 player in tennis going into that match. She got upsetted by Splitalina, who's playing some of her best tennis right now. Great serve, great backhand. She moves on to the semifinals.
Yeah, and she's the defending champ, I think.
Yeah, she was.
That's how do you say it? Splitalina?
Splitalina, yep. Splitalina.
Yeah. So I mean, defending champ, winning last year was huge. I think she Russian or from Kazakhstan, one of the two. But I think last year it's a big deal. Someone on the women's side, they're trying to establish themselves as the go-to, the number 1, someone that can win back-to-back years. I'm going with her, and then I'm always going with Djokovic. And the thing is, yeah, he's getting older. I think he still might be the best of all time. But as someone that just got their ass kicked by older people this entire tennis season, I'm not going to go with just the youth factor. It's like, no, he can still play. I'm picking him. He's clutch. He's seasoned. He can handle the pressure. He can break serves when he needs to. He's just, yeah, he's unbelievable to watch.
100%. But yeah, guys, that's Wimbledon Championships going on right now, man. We are towards the downstretch, man. That's going to be the big tournament. Baseball just had the home run derby. Vladimir Guerrero just won the home run derby. Great batter in the major leagues. Been playing good. Braves right now best team in baseball. Currently number 1 seed. They would get a bye. The playoffs started today. I think number 2 is the Dodgers, as always. So they're playing really, really well. So it's going to be interesting to see. We probably have a little bit more coverage as we hit, later down in the season for baseball. But yeah, guys, that's what we got for you. Definitely keep it locked next Tuesday. We are pretty close, man. We're going to have the Sheriff's Cup actually in another month, August 12th. So that will be on TV. To be Tucker versus Cambridge, and then Grayson versus McEachern will be live for that. And then we have our Corky Kell the week after. That'll be a whole slate of 4 days of games. That starts Wednesday all the way to Saturday. And then after that, we'll have our Great Atlanta Bash, and then a game every single week all the way into the finals. So, man, we got a lot stored. Craig, before we break, anything you just excited to see upcoming?
Let's see. I think Media Day will be
Tigers.
exciting.
Oh, I forgot about that. Media Day as well.
That's coming up.
July 26th.
That will be quite a week, I'm sure. And then you were mentioning the home run derby. I pulled up this article.
Yeah.
So a kid got hit in the face by Guerrero.
Yeah, by his line drive. Yep.
How many years did it take for that finally to happen? I mean, every single time you watch it, it's like these kids are just like kids. It's like they don't know. Those balls are slicing. They're coming at you. It's like this isn't like, oh, you play outfield for your 5th grade team. Go out there. It's like
no, these things
who
are
thought
going
that
fast.
was a good idea?
It wasn't. These are
It's like,
professional athletes, like hitting the ball
but
hard.
man,
you
I
know?
hope that kid's okay. That looked rough.
Definitely, 100%.
My God. Said it was 116 miles per hour coming at him.
Insane.
I mean, how do you stop that? It's like,
I don't know.
oh man. So I think they'll probably be getting rid of that. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I got hit by a foul ball when I was 7 years old at a Braves game by John Smoltz. It broke my hand. I was holding my frozen lemonade and just
Sheesh.
lemonade went everywhere. And
Dang.
so yeah, it's dangerous, but
100%.
it's exciting for him to win it again. And I'm so old, I remember his dad winning it.
Been around for a while. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's all we got for you guys, man. If you guys want to ask us any quick questions before we wrap for the show, put them down in the live chat down below. But yeah, we're about to conclude. But we'll wait a couple of seconds for any questions you have for us before we close out the show.
Yikes. So when is the All-Star game? That's going to be...
I think should be, let's see, actually, really quick. Wrap. It's usually right after. Oh, it's today. It's today at 8.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah, today at 8. So that will be a lot of fun. I don't think we got any questions, but that's all we got for y'all, man. So keep it locked, man. We got a lot coming up. I think the media day is going to be so fun. Full day of just media coverage as far as the top teams in the state of Georgia. I mean, everybody's going to be there. Can't wait to talk to some of these players and top people. So appreciate y'all tuning in again, man. Y'all have a great rest of the week. We will see you guys next Tuesday together. Craig got a show tomorrow, and I got one Thursday, and then Craig closes out Friday. So keep it locked for that. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. And as I said, last thing, our shows are going forward. We'll have a underrated and overlooked player every single week going forward now, and then we will have Najeh's notes and Craig's intel on Georgia and my notes on Georgia Tech. So keep it locked for that. That's all we got for you guys. Have a great rest of the week. We out. Peace.